And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/Takes by Fans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, folks, it is draft weeks, man. It is draft week. Today is Monday, and we only got to little old Thursday to prepare and get us ready, and hopefully our teams get better for the better, yeah? We draft somebody that's actually going to make our team better and not, draft a bust, and then we're still rebuilding and still not good this season, and then have to delay our goodness till next year's draft. So this Thursday, 7:30 Eastern time, that's when we're going to be live for our live draft coverage. We're going to be watching it, so come out, hang out with other fans. Let's all just hope our teams get better. That's all. We're all hopeful right now. Yeah, are you hopeful? Everybody's going into the draft hopeful. Nobody's like, oh my goodness, like we're just going to get worse, and I don't even want to. I don't think anybody doesn't want to watch the draft. No, it's a night of hope, folks. It's a night of hope for all the other 31 teams that didn't win the Super Bowl this season. So, 7:30 Eastern. That's when we will be live at twitch.tv/Takes by Fans for our live draft show. So today, this is how we're going to do kind of draft week. Today, we are going to be ranking our offensive draft prospects, wide receivers, quarterbacks, and running backs. Tomorrow, we'll do our defensive NFL prospects, cornerbacks, linebackers, safeties. We'll rank those. And then Wednesday, we'll do our mock draft, leading us up till Thursday. We might have a little bit of a free show on Thursday, just kind of, getting our final thoughts, maybe last second predictions all the way up till kind of 7:30. So that's what we've got for kind of this draft week. Get ready, folks. Thursday, we don't even know what's going to happen. That's what's making this draft so great. It's like we know the number one pick, but honestly we don't even know who the Jets are taking at number 2, and then we don't even know who the 49ers are taking at number 3 because we don't know who the Jets are taking at number 2. So it's going to be a great draft. What are the Falcons doing at 4? We still don't know, but we might have some clues in the stories today. But that's what we've got kind of for the draft week. Obviously still breaking down the NBA from last night, doing our moneymaker. So let's start the show with the stories of the day here. Alrighty, I know we haven't covered it in a couple of days, and I know we have 5 years to kind of get all of our discussions in and kind of all of our arguments in, but Julian Edelman, little bit of a quote here. Julian Edelman on the Hall of Fame, quote, "I didn't grow up thinking about a Hall of Fame. I grew up thinking about hoisting a Lombardi trophy." Yes, sir. The man's like, y'all can have the fame. I got rings. I got championships. I got trophies, so leave me out of the Hall of Fame. I don't give a damn. You think I give a damn about a stone busting me? I got the hardware. I got the ring. So yeah, if you want to leave me out of the Hall of Fame, that's fine, but I've got trophies, I've got rings, something that people in the Hall of Fame don't have, so I will take that. I will take the winning. I was a winner. The man was a winner. That's kind of one of our main arguments for this man getting into the Hall of Fame. He is a winner. But Julian Edelman, no sweat off of his back so far. It's only a couple of days removed from, that big kind of start of the discussion if Julian Edelman does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame or not. But, so far, he's just like, I'm a winner. Y'all don't understand. Y'all can worry about the Hall of Fame. I'm not worrying about the Hall of Fame. I've got rings. I'm a champion. You can't take that away from me. I am in the record book. So we'll see. We do have still a lot of years for this kind of argument and discussion and debate to kind of still play out. But Julian Edelman is kind of just still kind of doubling down on, hey, I'm a winner. I won. This is what we do in the league. This is why everybody plays to win, and I did that. So still kind of doubling down on his main argument that he was a winner, but it's his win first mentality, man. Absolutely. Alrighty, we have got the first NFL player switching numbers. We've got Patrick Peterson, newly to the Vikings, trying to shore up that defense a little bit. He is switching from number 21 to number 7, so he's having a single-digit number like he had in college, so he's going to have to kind of buy out all the inventory, do all of that, but hey, no sweat off of his back. Obviously, he's been a great, one of a cornerstone cornerback in this league for his entire career, so he's obviously got the money. We know that. We're not worried about, Patrick Peterson's not worried about paying off the prices of the jerseys in the inventory, but we've got our first number change here. Patrick Peterson will be rocking number 7, and hey, the first one just needed to fall. Now we'll see if other kind of players are starting to come out and switch their numbers as well, but hey, Patrick Peterson is the first one, folks. Here it is, 21 to number 7. So get used to Patrick Peterson in a purple number 7 jersey this upcoming season. Alrighty, and it is draft week. All right, folks, so let's all take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. There are going to be a lot of fake stories coming out. These are kind of coming out from, other coaches in the league, other general managers, just to kind of, throw off the scent of what they're going to do in the draft, maybe try to force somebody to kind of overreach because, hey, at number 5, we're going to take a quarterback. We're going to take this quarterback, but number 4 also wants a quarterback, so maybe they take the quarterback that number 5 wanted to kind of screw number 5 or something like that. So watch out and be aware of a lot of fake stories coming out this week, folks. And I have to preface it because we get this story right here and I truly don't get it, but this is what we get. So as the 49ers close in on their decision on which quarterback to take at number 3, sources say, whenever you hear sources say, be wary this week, folks. Sources say they are down to 2 prospects, and the belief is that those are Bama quarterback Mac Jones and North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance. Come on, man. Come on. There's no way that you can tell me that Mac Jones and Trey Lance are better than Justin Fields right now. I can't believe that. I can't take that as truth, and I have to take this as a fake story. First of all, Trey Lance played in the FCS. Alrighty. I mean, first of all, that's got to be a little bit of a red flag right there. Justin Fields was winning. The only 2 games that he lost these last 2 seasons were the last game of the season. Either a first-round exit in the playoffs or a second-round exit in the playoffs, and that second-round exit's the championship game. So he's losing only the big games of the season. And Mac Jones only had 1 good season with an absolute stacked roster. He had the Heisman winner. He had probably the Heisman runner-up of Najee Harris behind him as well. And they were all there for 4 straight seasons. Alabama, the highest coveted college program that there is. That's how he had success. I'm not buying it. I'm going to go with Justin Fields over Trey Lance and Mac Jones here. So I'm not trusting anything coming out of here. I think the 49ers are going to get Justin Fields. I mean, why would you trade up so much to go and get Mac Jones or Trey Lance? Have they shown you that much in their kind of 1 year of playing? Trey Lance didn't play this year because they didn't. They canceled the season. They played 1 game in 2020. That was it. Mac Jones only got good in 2020. So if you're telling me that you traded away your kind of future, the 49ers did, for 1 year decent, good quarterback play, I'm sorry for all the 49ers fans out there because that's not going to work. So I do not believe this at all. I cannot trust that NFL scouts and general managers and coaches are having Justin Fields kind of be the 5th ranked quarterback in this year's draft class. I think that's wildly ridiculous to say, but so I'm not trusting this at all. Just wanted to bring this up just to kind of make y'all wary that there are going to be a lot of fake stories coming out this week, folks. There's been fake stories all off season so far, but now that we're 4 days away from the draft, teams are kind of wanting, some of these teams are kind of locking in on what players they want to draft, so they're kind of sending out smoke screens out there to kind of make sure that they get their number 1 guy that they want. So I'm not buying that the 49ers are choosing between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. I'm not buying that at all, folks. Alrighty, now this could be potentially interesting. Here we go. There's a rumor going around, and we get 2 different kind of stories here. So once again, a little interesting. We'll go a little bit deeper into an article on one of these stories, but here we go. Rumor that the Patriots are eyeing trade up for Justin Fields. Teams believe New England is calling around to move up from number 15 to get the Ohio State quarterback here. So teams believe New England is calling around? Like what is that? What rumor is that? Some teams are believing that New England is making calls. Did they call you or not? Like, that needs to be the story. So once again here, it's just a rumor. Teams believe New England is calling around. What does that even mean? How do you believe somebody's calling around? It's either they called you or not. What is that? And then we go to this one. Patriots making calls about trading into the top 10, eyeing Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields. So let's see what we get in this article right here. Is this headline a little kind of wonky, or what's the deal? So, all right, here we go. This week, NFL GMs will burn up the phone lines to gauge opportunities to move up or down their draft boards in advance of Thursday night opening round. Clubs have already been calling teams in the top 10 to check on availability if one of their targets slips into an attainable range. The current sweet spot is number 7 overall with the Detroit Lions, who likely would be open to trading back and acquiring more assets in the rebuild. Yeah, I get it, but I mean, hey, if you're a bad team in this league, having a new head coach, I mean, you got to go and get a key piece to your rebuild. Go and get that kind of early first round pick. Don't trade back and get, potentially, 4 bad players that won't pan out, or you can go for one top 10 player that most likely will pan out, but then you don't get a lot of garbage players on the side. That's fine. You need to kind of solidify what your direction of the rebuild is. So I don't like Detroit trading back. I mean, Dan Campbell, take control, take charge of your gosh darn team. Go and get a good proven player at number 7. All this trading back, man, I hate trading back in the draft. I think it makes absolutely zero sense. Go and get the goddamn player that y'all want. Why do you have to keep trading back for more picks that will not pan out? Draft picks rarely pan out to be that good, folks. So go and get a proven top 10 player. If you have a top 10 pick, it's not that hard, man. Y'all act like draft picks are deep in this draft. I mean, when was the last time any kind of meaningful kind of player helped out a rebuilding team that kind of just kept trading back? I don't think that ever happened. So Detroit, please do not trade back. That's just, I don't get it, man. Trading back. I hate trading back. It makes no sense. Like when you trade back, you're acting like there's just so much talent in this draft. And folks, there's not that much great talent in any draft, really. Alrighty, what else do we get here? The Carolina Panthers at number 8 and the Denver Broncos at 9 are both candidates to draft either a quarterback or an offensive lineman. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported Monday on Good Morning Football that the New England Patriots are one of the teams testing the waters about a possible move into the top 10. Pelleroso says teams who received calls believe the Patriots' target would be Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields if he began to slip. Alrighty, with the NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reporting that the 49ers have narrowed their focus to Mac Jones and Trey Lance at number 3. I don't think that's true, man. And we get nothing solid here. They're just assuming that the Patriots are just calling teams and moving into the top 10. What is that? So once again, just these fake non-stories. Nobody, an NFL insider said that the Patriots potentially are calling around, and if they do trade into the top 10, that most likely it's Justin Fields. What? What are we talking about here? So, stay away from and be wary of kind of fake rumors and fake reports out here. I mean, people are just talking and kind of writing that it's a rumor out here, like classic. So, don't get too bogged down by all these kind of articles and rumors coming out this next week. We'll try to help y'all sift through the fake news, fake information out here. Alrighty, and then we get this rumor again. I mean, this has been going on the entire offseason. Report the Falcons are, quote, considering trading wide receiver Julio Jones. I mean, we heard this as soon as the season ended. Arthur Blank said everybody's for sale. Then a few months later, he's like, no, we're keeping everybody. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, nobody's on the table. We're good to go. We're fine here. No trading going on. And now we get the Falcons are considering trading wide receiver Julio Jones. So let's see this. Who's saying this now? So let's go in the article now. Here we go. There could be another star wide receiver trade brewing this year, as Peter King of NBC Sports is reporting that the Atlanta Falcons are considering trading Julio Jones. The tweet, the Falcons have said they're expecting Julio Jones to remain in Atlanta, but don't be surprised if they put the framework of a trade together that would become effective on June 2nd when he's eligible to get traded. All right, King reports the Falcons are putting the frameworks of a trade together that would send Jones elsewhere, but the trade won't go through until June 2nd. The June 2nd date is significant because that's when the Falcons create $15.3 million in cap space for the 2021 season. King speculates that the Raiders, Patriots, Titans, Ravens are teams that might have an interest in trading for Julio Jones. I mean, once again, just kind of, assuming these teams are. So, I mean, you can't trade him right before the draft, so that's definitely going to hurt him a little bit. No draft day trade for this man because it can't go through until June 2nd. June 1st, actually. Atlanta can't deal the star wide receiver until after June 1st. So, yeah, June 2nd is the first date he can go. And, I mean, is Julio Jones still a player that you want on your team? Is he still a wide receiver that can get things done? Well, the most receiving yards per game in NFL history. Number 1 is Julio Jones with 95.5 yards per game. Absolutely magnificent. Then number 2 was Calvin Johnson with 86 yards per game. So, we see just kind of the sheer discrepancy between number 1 and number 2, and number 2 was absolutely fantastic. We just actually watched Calvin Johnson on the show yesterday, watched his highlights, and we just, now Julio Jones, better yards per game than Calvin Johnson had, and Calvin Johnson was fantastic that we've seen. So Julio Jones absolutely can still get it done. Maybe just kind of, his time just ran out in Atlanta. They couldn't get it done. They lost the Super Bowl. Ever since then, they've really just been super floundering in this league. So we'll see what happens. We've got, kind of the back and forth. Arthur Blank saying, yeah, we're going to trade him. No, we're not. And now we're still open to it. So we'll see what happens on draft day. We'll see if the Falcons go and get a wide receiver anytime in the draft, maybe kind of, foreshadowing that they are going to trade Julio Jones come June 2nd. So we'll see what happens with Julio Jones and the Falcons in the draft. Alrighty, Shad Khan, number 1 pick will, quote, define Jaguars, quote, for the rest of my life. I mean, this is, a tough spot to be in. I mean, there's only one real selection here at number 1. They're kind of boxed in at taking Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence seems to be the best quarterback in this draft. In the Jaguars, they need a quarterback. So let's see what Shad Khan is kind of saying here. Anything interesting in these quotes? So, quote, if you know anything about football, if you know anything about the Jaguars, yeah, but this is a decision that it's going to define us, certainly for the rest of my life, and everything I read and hear from people who know a lot more about football than I do from them. It's like stating the obvious. The Jaguars owner knows selecting Lawrence will immediately ratchet up the expectations. Quote, the Jaguars being among the 2 youngest teams in the league, I can talk about my 9 years. It's by far the most important time for the Jaguars. That's why I think having Urban Meyer leading this team and where we ended up with this season, I knew that this would be arguably the most important decision I'd be making, maybe in my lifetime. How the stars aligned, it's something that can really secure the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Alrighty, so a lot of pressure on here for the Jaguars here, making sure that Trevor Lawrence pans out. I mean, people have been talking about Trevor Lawrence, being in the NFL since his first year when he won the national championship, looking real freaking good. And then we had to kind of wait 2 years for him to kind of be draft eligible, and now the time is here. Shad Khan knows that he can't mess this up. He needs Trevor Lawrence to kind of be the face of this franchise, turn around what the Jaguars kind of have been as a team. I mean, they had one good year. When was it? Like 2016 when they made it to the AFC Championship game, but that was like a fluke year because then they were trash right after that. So they definitely need a quarterback. Is Trevor Lawrence the future? Can Urban Meyer get it done? A kind of cultural shift here in Jacksonville. Will it work? Will it not? Shad Khan, he's saying it's gonna. This decision's going to affect him for the rest of his life, and hopefully be kind of the jumpstart for the Jaguars. He said, the Jaguars are the second youngest team in this league, and we know we're kind of transitioning into kind of a new era of football now that we have 17 games. We're in the 17-game kind of schedule now. So kind of a new era in football, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, they can be good in this era. We just told y'all who were good in last era. When we were kind of breaking down the win percentages of the 16-game season, seeing that the Steelers, and who was number 1, the Cowboys was number 2. Steelers were the best winning percentage, and then I think it may have been the Cowboys or maybe the Patriots also up there. But who's going to kind of take hold of this new era of football of 17 games? Let's see what Trevor Lawrence can do with Urban Meyer year 1. Alrighty, the Bills general manager Brandon Beane says Buffalo could draft explosive running back early. Interesting. Alrighty, well, there's really only two explosive running backs in this draft, Najee Harris and Travis Etienne. Everybody else is just kind of, solid. All of them kind of look the same, but Najee Harris and Travis Etienne are two running backs in this draft class that are just leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. So the Bills, they still got kind of Devin Singletary. We'll see if they kind of just go out and draft a running back. They don't really need anything else. I mean, they've got the quarterback, obviously. They've got the wide receivers. Their defense is fantastic. Their line has been good. It's been solid. So are they going to go out and just kind of, splurge on a running back round one if Najee Harris and Travis Etienne are still there? Now, I don't know how early these running backs are going to get selected. Let's see where the Bills draft at. Let's get that up. They got to be drafting like 28 or 29 they got to be drafting since they made it to the AFC Championship game. All right, their draft pick is 30. Oh, 30. Gosh darn. Yeah, 29, 30, 31, 32. Forgot the 32 there. Alrighty, so yeah, they draft number 30. They could get the running back, but the Dolphins with their second pick at 18 could also draft a running back. The Colts don't at 21. Tennessee doesn't need it at 22. The Jets at 23, 2 first-round picks. They get a quarterback and a running back, just kind of shoring up that offense for Robert Saleh. Steelers at 24, that's all they need is just a running back. I mean, they've got the receivers, definitely. They're still rocking with Big Ben. Their defense has been great. They did, I think they lost like 1 or 2 pieces in this offseason. But, the Steelers are just desperate at running back at 24, so we'll see if the Bills trade up at all. I don't think they do, but if there's a running back at 30, they may be able to pick it up. But one's definitely coming back. One's definitely coming off the board at number 24. I think that's a given at this point. The Steelers are going to get either Najee Harris or Travis Etienne at 24, whichever one is left. But yeah, we'll see what the Bills do. And we'll see if they're kind of high on one of these other running backs of kind of Javonte Williams or Michael Carter from UNC. So we'll see what happens here with the Bills. I mean, draft week, folks, teams are kind of shoring up their plans a little bit. Bills need a running back. Devin Singletary's good, but is he as good as, Najee Harris? No. Is he as good as Travis Etienne? No. So we'll see what happens with the Bills this Thursday on the draft. Alrighty, another kind of, information on potential from this draft. The Vikings could trade up from number 14 if top tackles slide, is the article right here. No quotes from anybody in the Vikings here. So let's see why they say this. This week, NFL GMs will burn up once again, the same article, right? The same headline, the same freaking first sentence of the article right here. Clubs have already been calling teams in the top. Oh, okay. So they just copy and paste the article with a new headline. This, what the hell is this? This article link brings you to the same article that we just read about the Patriots trading up into the top 10. So they're just making up things at this point and linking articles that have nothing truly really to do with this. I guess here we go. The Minnesota Vikings, who pick at number 14, could try to jump up if one of the top offensive tackles begins to slide into that range in search of a long-term solution at offensive tackle. If Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater slide a tad, GM Rick Spielman could cash in and move some of his chips to move up. Alrighty, so they're kind of hinting, they're kind of predicting that the Vikings are kind of heavy on the tackles to kind of shore up their offensive line a little bit. I thought they would kind of go a little bit on the defensive end of the ball. We heard Mike Zimmer say this was one of the worst defenses he's ever coached. We saw they brought in Patrick Peterson. Maybe they draft a kind of a safety or another linebacker, maybe a number 2 corner if they want it. But still no real information here, just a lot of people speculating. So you have to watch out for that. Fake stories and just people speculating and guessing. So Vikings, believe it or not, here we go. They could trade up from number 14, maybe, potentially. If that's what they're going to slide and then they want to move up. So just classic nonsense talk. And talking classic nonsense talk, I mean, what are people saying out here? We get Skip Bayless on Undisputed today's show. He just said this, quote, if the Miami Dolphins, let's start it over right here. Quote, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I swallow my considerable pride and I take a quarterback at number 6 because Tua will never be the answer? What are you saying? What? Okay, first of all, Tua is going to be the answer. I don't understand. Did y'all watch him play? His accuracy was fine. It was perfect, actually. It was probably one of the best accuracies in the entire NFL this season. I don't want to hear it. Where he was placing the ball was absolutely fantastic on every single throw. I don't want to hear it. We didn't have the weapons. We didn't have these great wide receivers. I mean, we literally had no help. Devontae Parker couldn't stay healthy, and then our number 2 wide receiver was like 5'8" and not as good as Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill's 1 in a million. So I don't understand why people, and if we would take a quarterback at number 6, I mean, we're going to take like the 5th best quarterback in this draft because we know Trevor Lawrence is going to be taken off the board. Zach Wilson's probably going to be taken off the board. Justin Fields is going to be taken off the board. So we get leftovers of Mac Jones and Trey Lance, and you're telling me one of those 2 quarterbacks are better than Tua right now? Come on. I got to say that Skip is just saying this to say this, honestly, trying to get a reaction. Once again, fake news here in draft week, just people saying whatever they want to just kind of, get a reaction out of people and, just have something to talk about this week, interesting. And then on Thursday, when they're either right or wrong, they can have that to talk about. So I don't know, man. I'm a Dolphins fan, and I don't really kind of see eye to eye with all of these other Dolphins fans. I mean, a lot of Dolphin fans I see want to take a lineman at number 6, and it's disgusting to say that. And I don't believe that at all. But yeah, I believe Tua's the answer. I believe in Tua 1,000%. Folks, we're talking about, a rookie quarterback that got thrown in like 5 weeks into the season. So he wasn't there from week 1. And, other defenses and defensive players had those extra weeks to kind of get into rhythm, game shape. And Tua's out there with everybody else in game shape, and he's not. So yeah, he struggled a little bit early, but nothing too major, nothing concerning, nothing like, oh my God, like a Josh Rosen, like year 1, you knew this man would not work out. So I'm not buying it. I do not agree with anybody that says Tua's not the answer. Honestly, I do not see that. I do not see what they see. We had no weapons. I don't understand what y'all are saying over here. Drew Lock had Jerry Jeudy and threw 15 interceptions. I mean, can we talk about Drew Lock not panning out in this league? Why is everybody still buying Drew Lock? What the hell is that? He played 8 extra games this season than he did his first season playing, and he lost all those 8 extra games. So can we talk about Drew Lock not being good? He's got Jerry Jeudy, a fantastic receiver. He's got Noah Fant, a fantastic tight end. So what are we talking about here? At least Tua was winning us games, and that's what you have to do in this league, win games. Tua's a winner. He came from Alabama. He knows what winning is. He was winning on the field. I don't want to hear it. Stop this nonsense on Tua, folks. It's truly nonsense. Alrighty, let's switch over to some NBA stories very quickly here. The Jazz clinched a playoff spot. They're the first team this season to clinch a playoff spot. Alrighty, congratulations. They kind of front-loaded their wins this season, obviously with Donovan Mitchell. Now that he's out, they're kind of a little iffy. So not big on Utah right now. They did clinch a playoff spot, but can they keep that number 1? Can they keep that number 1 spot in the Western Conference? The Suns are 2 games back from the Jazz now. They were kind of hovering about a game and a half, but now they just lost last night, so now officially 2 games out. And the Clippers are also officially 2 games out from number 1 as well. So now the Suns have a chance of dropping out of the top 2, and the Jazz have kind of 2 competitors knocking on their front door saying, hey, you slip up once or twice, we're going to squeeze our way into that number 1 seed. So yeah, the Jazz clinched a playoff spot, but they definitely want home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs. So congratulations to the Jazz, but there's still work to be done. Alrighty, and then these last 3 stories kind of all go together, and we kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday on the show, or 2 days ago on the show. But Steve Kerr says Klay was emotional after seeing fans back in Chase Center on Friday. Quote, it hit him really hard how much he's missing. He needs to be out on the floor. This is his happy place. And then, this brings up the video that we talked about yesterday on the show, 2 days ago on the show. No, yesterday on the show. This was from Friday when Steph Curry went over to the bench of Klay Thompson, looking real kind of down on himself, going over there, cheering him up. We don't know what they're saying because Klay's got the mask on and Steph Curry's got the towel over his head, but I mean, we know just how great their kind of bond is on friendships, kind of in real life, I would say, and on the court, obviously, of being teammates together. And this just goes to show, once again, yes, Steph Curry is great on the floor, but he's also that leader that you need on your team. We saw him kind of getting on the guys on the bench when they were losing. He's, talking up Klay Thompson on the bench, being like, hey, you're still a huge part of this team, man. Come next season when you're ready to rock, we're going to be back to our glory days, back to the finals, man. So just, hang in there, keep your head up. We're going to get through this. We're going to be back on top. No problem, man. We're just you away from back winning. That's really all it is. And once you're healthy, we're going to get back at this thing, winning, being champions, being kind of the greatest duo in NBA history. The Splash Brothers are back. So you got to give so much respect to Steph Curry, man, a true leader on this floor, and we kind of related this to kind of other point guards around the league. I know I brought up Kyrie Irving the other day when we talked about this clip, but I mean, could you see Kyrie Irving doing this to one of his players? Could you see him going over to kind of Kevin Durant or James Harden 2 years into this kind of Nets team that this Warriors team is? I mean, Steph and Klay have been together forever, but could you see other point guards doing this? Kyrie Irving, who says he's so great of a leader and everything like that, but we never get moments like this ever from Kyrie Irving, do we? I don't see it. So much credit to Steph Curry right here, a true leader, man. And not only is he a leader, we know what he does on the court. Steph Curry has made 83 three-pointers this month of April. That is the most in any month in NBA history. And it's not like, he's, shooting three-pointers with basically his toe an inch away from the three-point line. No, these are most of his threes right here. What do we get, like 5 feet, 6 feet from the three-point line? Chucking up threes that are cash all day, that these are good shots of Steph Curry, bad shots by literally everybody else in this league, but he goes and makes these three-pointers. So you got to give it up for this man. Absolutely the most deadly shooter in NBA history, a great leader, and he's making his case for MVP here. He's willing his team to a play-in tournament of very, very lackluster teammates. I mean, Andrew Wiggins is fine. Draymond Green's a good kind of third piece, but he's kind of has to be elevated to kind of a number 2 piece. They don't even have that great of a big. Kevon Looney, James Wiseman got injured. Kevon Looney is just meh. And then Kelly Oubre Jr. is better off the bench than he is in the starting lineup. So this Warriors roster is truly lackluster, but Steph Curry, man, he will go out and literally do everything on the floor, off the floor to get wins, and you got to respect the heck out of it, man. I respect the heck out of it, so. Alrighty, those were all the stories that we needed to cover for today. So let's head over to the NBA, break down what happened. We'll do our moneymaker for tonight's action, and then we'll head over to our ranking of the NFL offensive draft prospects. Alrighty, so let's start with the NBA from last night. Here we go, first game up, Hornets and the Celtics. This was a 1 o'clock game, and the Celtics got absolutely blown out. Hornets win 104 over the Celtics, and the Celtics were a 8-point favorite. 8-point favorite. We took it. We took the bait. Unfortunately, we saw Evan Fournier back for the Celtics. We saw Jaylen Brown back for the Celtics. We saw Kemba Walker back for the Celtics, and that gave us kind of great hope that they would kind of, win, that they would win the game. But the Hornets get it done. So shout out to this Hornets team, and let's start here with the Hornets since they won first. Devontae Graham, 24 points, 9 assists, absolutely fantastic. He shot 6 of 11 for 3. Terry Rozier, 21 points, 11 assists, 5 of 9 from 3. So Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier back at it, getting it done offensively. PJ Washington at the 5. Where has this PJ Washington been? I mean, throughout the regular season, he hasn't really been doing anything. Then he kind of got injured. He was out for a couple of games, and now he's back and he's playing the 5, and it's absolutely magnificent. 22 points, 5 assists, 12 rebounds, 4 of 6 from 3. Miles Bridges at the 4, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 8 from 3. And then Cody Martin at the starting 3, 13 points, 5 assists, 10 rebounds. So, I mean, absolutely great shooting, great scoring, great production by literally every single one of the starters here of the Hornets. And, folks, I know I say this a lot, but how great is this Hornets team? Missing their top 3 players, all injured, and this next man up mentality is just providing, wins for this Hornets team. Absolutely fantastic. Love everything about this team. Everybody's stepping it up, and they are currently still 8th in the East. So they are going to have to play in the play-in tournament if they can't get, into the top 6 there. They are only 2.5 games back, a game and a half back from that 6th seed. So there is still potential for this Hornets team to get into the top 6, not kind of have to go through the play-in tournament. But man, oh man, got to give so much credit. And now we know LaMelo Ball should be kind of coming back maybe next week, maybe late this week, next week, definitely, maybe, hopefully. But yeah, absolutely wonderful by this Hornets team. And then we get off the bench. Brad Wanamaker, 12 points off the bench. We'll take that. So absolutely all the starters here for the Hornets absolutely showed out last night. And I'm definitely all about it. They hit 21 threes, just got it done. The Celtics only hit 14, a huge reason why they won that game. So let's talk about this Celtics team now. Kemba Walker back. Their starting lineup is back. Kemba Walker at the 1, Marcus Smart at the 2, Jason Tatum at the 3, Jaylen Brown at the 4, and Tristan Thompson at the 5. This is their lineup. Evan Fournier coming off the bench, Jabari Parker coming off the bench. So this is kind of what they're going to be doing in the playoffs. This is kind of their final roster here, and they still just couldn't get it done. Nothing great off the bench, and they didn't get kind of, great contributions by everybody in the starting lineup. So let's talk about it here. Kemba Walker, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 of 6, 3 of 9 from 3. Marcus Smart, 17 points, 4 assists, 3 of 7 from 3. And then here we go, Tristan Thompson, 5 points, 4 rebounds, lackluster. There it is. We saw everybody get it done in the starting roster for the Hornets, and we see Tristan Thompson letting the team down a little bit. But we don't expect Tristan Thompson to score that many points anyway, but we still need points to come from somewhere else. Jason Brown and Jalen Tatum did not pick up the slack here. Jaylen Brown, 20 points, 8 rebounds, but he shot 2 of 7 from 3 and 36% from the field on 22 shots. Not great. And then Jason Tatum, lackluster here, not even the leading scorer for his squad at 19 points. He did have 11 rebounds, which is good, but 1 of 5 from 3, 37% from the field. So we either get great nights by Jason Tatum where he's putting up 30-plus points on great shooting, or a lackluster Jason Tatum where he's putting up like less than 25 points and he's not shooting like over 40%. So Jason Tatum is a huge key to the Celtics team, which we know, and they definitely need a little bit of depth off their bench as well, and that's exactly what they did not get last night. Kemba Walker, or Evan Fournier off the bench, 0 points, 0 of 3 shooting. How many times does this go like 0% shooting from the field? This is like his 3rd game. Not good, and it's not like he only took 1 shot or 2 shots. Yeah, he only took 3 shots here, but we've seen him go 0 of 10 multiple times in this off the bench for the Celtics. So Evan Fournier, very streaky here off the bench. Jabari Parker only playing 11 minutes, 4 points. We get Grant Williams, 9 points in 18 minutes. Not bad, but overall, they need more players to get the scoring done. They need Jason Tatum to kind of ball out like Devin Booker does on a nightly basis for that Suns team, putting up 30-plus points every single game. That's what Jason Tatum needs to do, and when they don't do it, they usually lose games, and they lost games last night because of it. So, well done to the Hornets, winning 125-104 over the Celtics. Alrighty, now let's go to the Nets and the Suns now, and Kevin Durant back for the Nets, yes sir, but the Suns could not get it done, unfortunate. No Jay Crowder, no Dario Saric, and it definitely hurt him a little bit out there. But let's start here with the Nets. Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant did not start, but he played 28 minutes off the bench, kind of closed out the game. It was an absolutely great closer. But Kyrie Irving, 34 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 of 7 from 3. He had a great night. Landry Shamet at the 2, 5 points on 2 of 5 shooting. DeAndre Jordan, 6 points, 12 rebounds, 5 of those offensive. We'll take that. Jeff Green, 10 points, 5 rebounds. Joe Harris a little light with 10 points. He shot 1 of 3 from 3. Usually need a little bit more out of him, but just Kevin Durant's absolutely fantastic game off the bench. 33 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, and man, he's shooting 57%, 2 of 3 from 3. This man has been, he's only played like 10 like 10 games this year, and like he'll stop. He'll like not play for a long period of time, months, multiple games, tens of games, and then he just picks up exactly where he leaves off. I mean, we know Kevin Durant's an absolutely fantastic talent. Could definitely potentially be the greatest player in the league if he could stay healthy for an entire season. He could be better than LeBron James. He's a great scorer. He's 6'11", folks. I mean, you can't stop this man, and he shoots just so purely. So he's an absolutely fantastic shooter. Got it done last night in the kind of fourth quarter for this Nets team. So got to give so much respect to Kevin Durant. Very well done. All right, let's talk about the Suns now. They lost. Not a good loss here. Devin Booker put up the 36 points, which was, what the Suns team needs. They need Devin Booker to be kind of the main scorer, but with Jay Crowder being out and Darius Saric being out, they kind of lose a little bit of depth and they lose some offensive production. So they ended up losing. They did put up 119 points, which is still pretty good, but unfortunately they just had to face Kevin Durant, and he kind of goes manic when he's out there. Alrighty, but let's talk about the Suns team. Chris Paul, 14 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 45%. Devin Booker with the 36 points on 4 or 5 from 3 and 50% from the field on 24 shots. DeAndre Ayton, 20 points, 13 rebounds, getting it done down low. Cameron Johnson in the starting lineup in place of Jay Crowder at the 4, 9 points. That's basically what he does off the bench, so not really upgrading his game here. McCall Bridges still at the 3, 7 points on 42% shooting, 0 of 4 from 3, so definitely hurting them there. Then off the bench, we did get Torrey Craig, which I'm glad that Torrey Craig's kind of back in action here. We saw him last year in the bubble getting it done for Denver, and now he's here with the Suns, still kind of getting it done here off the bench. 20 points, 14 rebounds on 31 minutes on 66%. So absolutely fantastic by Torrey Craig, but then nothing great. Cameron Payne, 5 points on 33% shooting off the bench. Frank Kaminsky, 5 points on 3 shots. Javon Carter, 3 points on 7 shots. So just nothing else great off the bench. So, why we, are losing a little bit of faith in the Suns team, a little bit losing against the best teams. Their offensive scoring production's not getting it done. So, unfortunate loss here by the Suns, but well done for Kevin Durant. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it doesn't matter how many games he misses. He's going to pick up exactly where he left off, which is always scoring buckets, high efficient shooter. So can't really stop it. I mean, how do you stop a 6'11" assassin? You don't. You die. You get killed. That's it. Alrighty, let's move on to the Grizzlies and the Blazers, and another loss by this Blazers team. I can't take it anymore, folks. I can't take Damian Lillard being a loser anymore. Ugh. So let's talk about this Grizzlies team. We stayed away from this one. We were very close to taking the Grizzlies plus 4.5, which in hindsight was absolutely great value. Unfortunately, we did not swallow up that value, unfortunately. But Jonas Valanciunas is back in the starting lineup. We saw him out for a couple of games with the concussion, but he was good to go. So here we go. Let's start here with the Grizzlies. Ja Morant, 28 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 of 4 from 3. Fantastic. Grayson Allen, an absolutely garbage night. And we see Grayson Allen streaky as heck out here, man. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 0 of 4 from 3, and 25% shooting on 12 shots. Yikes. But doesn't matter because Jonas Valanciunas picks up the slack here. 21 points, 10 rebounds. Very well done. He shot 3 of 4 from 3 as well. Kyle Anderson, 16 points, 2 of 2 from 3, 6 rebounds to go along with that. Dylan Brooks, 18 points, 8 rebounds. He didn't shoot, great, 2 of 5 from 3, 31% overall, but I'll take those 18 points, yes, sir. So the starters kind of all got it done. Grayson Allen, a little bit of a light night. But then off the bench, what do we get? Brandon Clark, 10 points, 4 rebounds, yes, sir. Anthony Melton, only 8 points on 2 of 7 from the field. 6 assists to go along with that, though, so not terrible overall. And he was a plus 14 on the floor, so getting it done defensively. So overall, the Grizzlies are able to get it done. The bench, decent. And the starters all get it done. Fantastic. Now, for the Blazers, no. Another loss. Another bench game that did not go the greatest for them. All right, here we go. Damian Lillard, 23 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Decent night, 4 of 10 from 3. He did shoot 29% overall from the field. Man, oh man, this man has been absolutely lackluster shooting the ball here these last 2 weeks. Not great. CJ McCollum, 27 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. He shot 4 of 10 from 3, 47% from the field. Nurkic still at the 5, 16 points, 19 rebounds. We see him getting kind of better every single game now, so that's what we love to see. Robert Covington, 2 points on 0 of 7 from the field. What the hell is that in the starting lineup? I mean, at least Grayson Allen got us to 9 points. Robert Covington can't do that. And then Norman Powell still at the 3, 17 points, 3 steals, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. He shot 0 of 3 from 3, 46% from the field, but 17 points, not terrible out here, but they got to do something, man. I would probably have Norman Powell come off the bench. Something's got to kind of give on this team. It's not working. You're not winning games with this lineup. Maybe put Derrick Jones Jr. in the starting lineup and then have Norman Powell come off the bench and, try to jumpstart that second team, kind of like what the Warriors have been doing with Kelly Oubre Jr. Yeah, he's still playing, starting minutes, like 30 plus minutes, but he's coming off the bench, and that's really kind of been lifting up that Warriors team. So the Blazers have to try and do something. You have to get right for the playoffs. Playoffs are coming up, and the Blazers, are they locked into a playoff spot here? I mean, they've got kind of a 6-game lead on the Pelicans for, if the Pelicans kind of, overcome their spot a little bit. But they have about a 6-game kind of cushion before they kind of fall out of that top 10 here in the play-in tournament. So you've got to figure out your starting lineup. You've got to get right for the postseason. You've got to start figuring out how you can win games consistently. After the trade deadline, this Blazers team has floundered the most here. I mean, they were winning games, and then everybody got healthy, and now they can't win with all their players healthy. What the heck is that? They can't win with Norman Powell substituting Gary Trent Jr. So something's got to give. You've got to switch up these lineups a little bit. You've got to experiment, because having just Norman Powell at the 3 is not resulting in wins. It's not getting it done. Off the bench, Carmelo Anthony, 12 points, finally having a decent game, but 30% shooting, not great. Then we get Anthony Simons, 8 points. That's decent on 3 shots. Enes Kanter, 7 points, 5 rebounds in only 14 minutes. So something's got to change, man. Whatever they're doing, this roster of Lillard, McCollum, Nurkic, Covington, Powell, it's not resulting in wins. So you've got to shake up this lineup. You've got to just kind of figure out what happens, why you're not winning games. And you're not winning games because your bench can't score. Derrick Jones Jr. is not doing anything. Carmelo Anthony, yeah, he put up 12 points this game, but I mean, every other game was like below 10 points, I mean, for the last 2 weeks. So there's no great scores off that bench. So maybe put Norman Powell down there, have him facilitate the floor with those guys, get the offense going, because this is not working right here. It's not working. You're not winning. So another bad loss here by the Blazers, losing 120-113 over the Grizzlies. Something's got to give. Alrighty, let's move on to the Wizards and the Cavs here. Wizards with the win, 119-110 over the Cavs. So fantastic to this Wizards team. We took the Wizards -7.5 last night. They win by 9, so just squeaking out the win. We saw Colin Sexton not in for the Cavs, so we thought their offensive production would go down a little bit, but honestly, it was still pretty good, and I'm still kind of proud of this Cavs team for overcoming not having Colin Sexton and still making this game close. So shout out to the Cavs. We'll talk about them in a second, but let's start here with the Wizards. Another win, folks. Yes, sir. Fantastic. Now still number 10 in the East. They are 2 games out from moving up to the 9th, which doesn't really make a difference in the play-in tournament because 9 and 10 play each other. But we'll see if they can kind of maybe work their way up to maybe 8 or 7. The Wizards are 4.5 games out from that 7th seed and that 6th seed, both kind of with the Celtics and the Heat kind of tied at that 6-7 seed, with both 32 wins and 29 losses. But, Wizards about 4.5 games back from kind of securing a kind of definite playoff position in the top 6, where you don't have to kind of fight for it if you're 7th or 10. But, very well done by this Wizards team. 8 straight wins, 9-1 in their last 10. They do have a 2-game lead above the Bulls for that kind of 11th and 10th seed. So, absolutely well done here by the Wizards. Russell Westbrook, only 14 points here. Only 14 points, and everybody else just kind of makes it up here. This is fantastic. Everybody else now starting to get a little piece of the offense, especially off this bench, so we can give this Wizards team so much credit. But here we go. Russell Westbrook, 14 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. He only shot 38%, had 4 turnovers, so not the best Russell Westbrook game. Raul Neto still at the 2, 14 points, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 rebound. Alex Len still at the 5, still not doing anything, still only playing 10 minutes out there, 2 points, 2 rebounds. Anthony Gill at the 4, 5 points, but he only played 13 minutes, took 4 shots. And then Bradley Beal still getting it done at the 3, man. This Wizards team, this is what I'm talking about. Why can't the why can't the Blazers kind of, shake up their lineup to figure out what works? The Wizards were doing it. Yeah, Bradley Beal was kind of getting it done at the 2, but it still wasn't resulting in anything else. So we move him at the 3. Raul Neto comes at the 2, and he's putting up 14 points. We didn't really have any other Wizards player besides Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook putting up consistent quality points, 10 or more points. And we saw the starting lineup here really kind of suffer because it was just Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. Now we're getting Raul Neto involved a little bit more. Anthony Gill and Alex Len, I mean, they only played 23 minutes combined for those kind of 2 starting positions. So it's the bench getting it done a little bit more, and that's reflected with their points. But very great job by Bradley Beal here. 33 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 of 4 from the 3, getting it done at the 3 here, at the kind of small forward position here. So wonderful job here by Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, the coach of this Wizards team, getting it done with their lineups. And then off the bench, I mean, everybody had a great night off the bench. Not everybody was in double-digit points, but everybody had 8 or more, so that's fantastic. So here we go, off the bench, Daniel Gafford, 12 points on 71% shooting, fantastic off the bench. Ish Smith, 8 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, yes sir. Davis Bertans, 9 points. Now, he wasn't efficient. He shot 3 of 10 from 3, 25% from the field. So definitely could be a little bit better, but we got the 9 points. We got the 4 rebounds, just solid there. Garrison Matthews, 8 points, 3 rebounds. And can we talk about how slept on Robin Lopez has been playing? 14 points, 5 rebounds in only 10 minutes, folks. Only 10 minutes of play. So they're really kind of reserving Robin Lopez out here. He's never playing that many minutes, but his production, points, rebounds are always there. So fantastic job here by this Wizards team, getting another win, knowing how to win at the end of the season. That's all we're looking for, folks. If you're good at the first half of the season but bad in the second half of the season, you're kind of trash. We don't care about you anymore. I mean, who was kind of good in the first half of the season that we don't talk about anymore? Is there anybody? Nobody really in the East. What about the West? The Blazers, perfect example there. I mean, they were number 4 seed in the West, and now they're number 7, and we're kind of falling off of them big time. I mean, every day we're on here, we're like, the Blazers, we can't buy them, we can't buy them anymore. So, I mean, the Rockets, even a little bit, they were kind of in the mix a little bit, tad-wise. But once again, now they're kind of the worst team in the West. So, Wizards getting right at the right time, and I absolutely love the hell out of it, truly. Alrighty, now let's talk about the Cavs. Better game than I thought it would go for the Cavs, but we still win the bet. They still cover the spread, so fantastic to the Wizards. All right, here we go. Isaac Okoro slides in place of Colin Sexton. So Darius Garland, 28 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds. He still gets it done. He shot 4 of 8 from 3. Isaac Okoro, 10 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Very lackluster of what Colin Sexton would do in that role. Jared Allen, though, steps up big time, and I absolutely love this, man. 27 points, 12 rebounds, 7 of those offensive boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Absolutely great game by Jared Allen. Kevin Love still at the 4, 12 points, 5 rebounds. He shot 2 of 3 from 3. And then C.D. Osman getting into the starting rotation. Yes, sir. We've seen him kind of been not very good basically for this entire season, but he steps it up back in the starting lineup. 19 points, 5 assists. He shot 3 of 6 from 3 and 58% overall from the field. So absolutely wonderful job here by the starters of the Cavs. It was just the bench that didn't do anything great. Matthew Dellavedova, 5 points. Larry Nance Jr., 5 points. He did have 5 assists and 7 rebounds, which is good, but 5 points on 28% shooting off the bench. Nothing great there, like the kind of Wizards had. So well done by the starters of the Cavs. Absolutely well done. If they had kind of Colin Sexton, they probably would have won the game. Unfortunately, they didn't. So shout out to the Wizards for getting the win. Absolutely well done. They get the win, 119-110 over the Cavs. Alrighty, let's move on. And man, oh man, the Hawks, man, no Trae Young and still get it done. Absolutely fantastic. Another reason why we can buy this Hawks team even more now. Winning, proving they can win without Trae Young. It's fantastic. Alrighty. So they beat the Bucks, man. The Bucks. Another bad loss by this Bucks team. I feel like whenever this Bucks team loses, it's against a not great team, man, or a team that they really shouldn't have lost against. So let's start here with the Hawks. Bogdanovich moves into the starting point guard position. Kevin Huerter moves into the starting 2 and kind of, with the shakeup. So Solomon Hill at the 3, John Collins at the 4, Clint Capella at the 5. But let's go back to Bogdanovich, and this man has been absolutely money for this team. He was money when the Hawks started to win with Trae Young. Bogdanovich was getting it done as the 2, 20 points every single game. Great contribution scoring-wise, and now he's picking up the slack even more. 32 points, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 rebound, 6 of 11 from 3. Fantastic work. Kevin Huerter at the 2, 20 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. He shot 1 of 5 from 3, but 64% overall from the field, so we'll take those 20 points, absolutely. Clint Capella, 6 points, but 14 rebounds. John Collins, 18 points, 5 rebounds. And then Solomon Hill at the 3, not really good. 2 points. He did have 12 rebounds, so we'll give him that, but 2 points on 12% shooting on 8 shots, 0-4 from 3 as well. So not great there, but they got great bench contribution. Danilo Gallinari was back, 15 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. And then Lou Williams, 15 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 4 of 7 from 3. So fantastic bench contribution, and Bogdanovich stepping it up to the max here, and I absolutely love it. So shout out to the Hawks for a win here. Is this a 2-game win streak for this Hawks team? 2-game win streak, man. Winning these games without Trae Young is absolutely magnificent, man. Why we can buy this Hawks team now. Winning without your star player, that shows us, that tells us a lot. That's great coaching. That's great bench play. That's great everybody else stepping up, and that's great next man up mentality. And those are things that are going to win championships in this league. All right, so the Bucks lose. Everybody was in. Drew Holiday, DiVincenzo, Brook Lopez, Giannis, Chris Middleton, Thanasis off the bench, Pat Connaughton off the bench, Bobby Portis off the bench. So they had all their players. They just couldn't win the game. Drew Holiday, 19 points, 11 assists. He shot 72% from the field. Absolutely fantastic. Dante DiVincenzo flounders, 5 points on 28% shooting, 6 rebounds. Brook Lopez, 11 points, 1 rebound. Giannis, 31 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists. Yes, sir. He shot 1 of 3 from 3. Chris Middleton, 23 points, 3 of 5 from 3, 50% from the field. So, overall, a decent game by the starters. Dante DiVincenzo kind of letting them down a little bit. And then they didn't get that many great bench productions. I mean, they had Brian Forbes, 0 points on 0 of 5 shooting. Absolutely not great. Bobby Portis, he put up the 10 points. That was great, but he was the only one that got solid contributions out here off the bench. Pat Connaughton, 5 points on 2 of 5 from the field. Jeff Teague, no points on 2 shots. So no great bench production like the Hawks had, and that bites the Bucks in the butt. But shout out to the Hawks for winning without Trae Young. Fantastic work. All right, then we get the Pacers and the Magic, and 2 not good teams here. Sabonis did not play. Miles Turner, we know, is out for the rest of the season. So, and they still get the win. But, we know this Magic team isn't anything great. And this Pacers team isn't anything great either. So 2 bad teams going against each other. One team had a win, and it was the Pacers. So it should have been the Pacers. They do have a better B squad than the Magic have. But the Pacers win 131-112 over the Magic. Alrighty, Malcolm Brogdon of the Pacers, 24 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 of 7 from 3. Karis LeVert, only 18 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. Karis LeVert's been a little underwhelming here for this Pacers team, unfortunately. Jakar Sampson filling in at the 5, 11 points, 5 rebounds. O'Shea Brissett at the 4, 13 points, 8 rebounds. And then Edmund Sumner at the 3 still, 21 points. 7 rebounds. So the starters all pretty decent out there. Not bad. Everybody in 10 plus points. 2 players having 20 points. That's good. Justin Holiday off the bench, 20 points. And then we get Doug McDermott, 16 points off the bench. So great bench production. Great job by the starters. Everybody kind of next man up mentality, big time here. Not having Sabonis their number one. Not having Miles Turner kind of their best defensive player. Only having Malcolm Brogdon and Karis LeVert. And they're still good offensively. But, I mean, you're not having two of your main players out there. So well done for the Pacers to get the win. Unfortunately, well, they are still number 9 in the East, so that's fantastic. I mean, they could still get into kind of the play-in tournament. We don't want to see them in the play-in tournament. I think there's other interesting stories. I would like to see, obviously, the Wizards. They're currently number 10, so I want to see them. Definitely want to see the Hornets at number 8, but I mean, I would love to see the Bulls at number 11 get in there. Let's see what kind of Vucevic and Zach LaVine can do. The Raptors, that whole kind of, squad of Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Nick Nurse as the coach. Even the Cavs, let's see Jared Allen in the play-in tournament. It's just the Pacers, who are we rooting for? Sabonis? I mean, okay, he's good. Don't get us wrong. He's really good, but it's Sabonis. He doesn't really have that big of a name outside of what he does on the floor. There's no other big old player. Karis LeVert's good, but he's kind of an up-and-comer here. Miles Turner being out for basically the rest of the season is hurting them defensively, but they did get the win, so I will kind of shout out the Pacers here. Just don't want to see them in the play-in tournament, honestly. I think they're a little lackluster team, a little boring of a team overall. All right, and then the Magic. Anything good here? Mo Bamba playing 24 minutes off the bench. I love seeing that. 17 points, 7 rebounds. Yes, sir. Get it done. Dwayne Bacon led the team in scoring with 20 points at the 3. No other player had 20 or plus points, but a lot of players had 10 or more points, so that's great. But Gary Harris only 6 points on 14% shooting. Absolutely not great. Wendell Carter at the 5, 10 points, 13 rebounds. Cole Anthony at the 1, 14 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. So just nothing great here. A big old 20-point loss, 19-point loss for the Magic. So Pacers get the win. Well done. Alrighty, and then the last game of the night, the Warriors and the Kings. Alrighty, and the Warriors able to kind of hold off. Once again, the Warriors kind of playing down to their competition a little bit. No De'Aaron Fox, and it's still only a 4-point win for the Warriors. So not the greatest, but Steph Curry gets it done like he always does, man. Clutch as clutch can be. So let's start here with the Warriors. Kelly Oubre Jr. still coming off the bench and still getting great production off the bench. I love it. So Steph Curry, 37 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 7 of 14 from 3. Michael Mulder filling in at the 2 here. They're still kind of figuring out this kind of 2 spot now that Kelly Oubre Jr. is coming off the bench. But Michael Mulder only playing 14 minutes, but he got us those 11 points. Fantastic. Kevon Looney at the 5, 8 points, 8 rebounds. Draymond Green, 8 points, 13 assists, 14 rebounds at the 4, getting it done. And then Andrew Wiggins, a little light on his points, only 13 points, but 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. We'll take that. He shot 40% on 15 shots as well. So classic kind of Warriors game here from their starters. And then off the bench, yes, sir, we can rely on Kelly Oubre Jr. 19 points, 7 rebounds. He wasn't totally efficient from 3, 1 of 7 from 3, but he shot 47%. Playing 31 minutes off the bench. That's what we're talking about. And then Juan Toscano Anderson as well coming off the bench. 10 points in the 31 minutes, but he also had 5 assists and 4 rebounds to go along with that. So that's what we're talking about, folks. Getting it done off the bench, 10 or more points. Kelly Oubre Jr. putting up the 19. Juan Toscano Anderson with the 10. And then we can also shout out Gary Payton here off the bench. In only 5 minutes, he went 3 of 3 for 7 points. Yes, sir, in only 5 minutes. So wonderful job here. This Warriors team, a little bit of a wild card here. They still are that 10th seed in the play-in tournament here in the West. So they'll have to go and beat the Spurs, and then they'll have to either go and beat the Blazers or the Grizzlies if the season ended today. Hopefully they could do that, because I would love to see this Warriors team kind of see what they can do in the playoffs. If they can kind of, if they have to face the Jazz, Series 1, Round 1 in the playoffs, I would give the Warriors a decent kind of shot at upsetting the Jazz, honestly. I think they could go the distance with them. But this Warriors team behind Steph Curry, anything is possible. So much credit to Steve Kerr for bringing Kelly Oubre Jr. off the bench. Even though he's still playing starting minutes, he's not initially with that starting lineup. Getting great production from Michael Mulder for some more minutes here. Getting his great production, because we can always count on Kelly Oubre Jr. more than any other bench player for this Warriors team. So bringing Kelly Oubre Jr. off the bench, I think, is fantastic, and it's been working ever since. So much credit. Once again, coaches playing around with the lineups a little bit, figuring out what's working, not what the Blazers are doing. Just everything is just set in stone. It's not working. It's still not working. It's still not working. We're not adjusting. We got other teams that are. So, well done to those teams. Alrighty. We got to finish the Kings before we move on. But no De'Aaron Fox. Buddy Hield had a good game. Tyrese Halliburton steps up in place of De'Aaron Fox and has a great game. So this was the lineup that they went with. Tyrese Halliburton at the 1, Buddy Hield at the 2, Harrison Barnes at the 3, Maurice Harkless at the 4, and Raquan Holmes at the 5. So basically their regular starting lineup, just Tyrese Halliburton filling in for De'Aaron Fox. So here we go. Tyrese Halliburton, 24 points, 8 assists, and he shot 2 of 7 from 3. Not the greatest, but 50% overall, and got us to 24 points. That's fantastic. Buddy Hield, 25 points, 6 rebounds. He shot 6 of 8 from 3. I mean, cashed out and was clutch, and that's fantastic. Buddy Hield kind of stepping it up without De'Aaron Fox. Got to give him so much credit. Raquan Holmes, 11 points, 5 rebounds. Maurice Harkless, 7 points, 0 of 4 from 3, 37% overall from the field. But then we get Harrison Barnes, 23 points, 7 rebounds, 5 of 9 from 3. Very well done. It's just this Kings team didn't have anybody off the bench to get it done like the Warriors did. Their leading scorers off the bench was Chimezie Metu, 7 points on 25% shooting, and Delon Wright, 7 points on 2 of 5 from the field, 40%. So Warriors had a little bit of a better bench thanks to Kelly Oubre Jr., and that's what we're talking about, folks. Kelly Oubre Jr. does not need to be a starter to get it done. He can get it done with that bench team and the starters. That's what makes him so good. So definitely need those 19, kind of 20-plus points that Kelly Oubre Jr. brings to this team on a nightly basis. So well done for the Warriors to get another win out here. Alrighty, that was all the NBA from last night. Let's see what we have on tap today. And then we'll do our moneymaker, get all that in. Then we'll head over to our NFL Draft Prospect Offensive Rankings. Here we go. So let's start with the NBA for tonight. We get Hawks, Pistons. We get Lakers, Magic. Thunder, 76ers. Spurs, Wizards. Suns, Knicks. Ooh, that should be a good one. Can the Suns bounce back from their loss last night? Cavs, Raptors, Bulls, Heat, Jazz, Timberwolves, Clippers, Pelicans, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Mavericks, Kings. All these games on. Holy moly. No primetime nationally televised games, though, so you're going to have the League Pass or NBA TV if you're going to want to watch tonight. But, yeah, a lot of games on tonight, so let's find where the value is. Let's get our moneymaker good to go. Let's get it rocking. Let's get it popping. Let's get it winning. Let's get it money, folks. Yes? Yes? Yes. Alrighty. Here we go. First game up. Thunder, 76ers. Thunder plus 12.5. 76ers minus 12.5. Alrighty. Probably staying away from this one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still out for the Thunder. Luguentz Dort is out for the Thunder. Mike Muscala is still out. And Josh Hall is out for the Thunder. For the 76ers, Tobias Harris, a game-time decision. Joel Embiid, game-time decision. Ben Simmons, game-time decision. And Furkan Korkmaz, game-time decision as well. So a lot of the starters for the 76ers are game-time decisions. We're probably going to stay away from this one. 76ers should have no trouble covering this spread, absolutely. But 12.5. Ben Simmons is now questionable. Anything else? No other word on anybody else here, but yeah, some just too many game time decisions here. Too big of a spread. Thunder not a good team. We'll stay away from it. All right, then we get the Lakers and the Magic, and once again, a big spread here. Lakers minus 10.5, Magic plus 10.5. Alrighty. LeBron James is still out for the Lakers. Marc Gasol, game time decision. KCP, game time decision. Anthony Davis, game time decision. Dennis Schroeder, game time decision. I'm assuming they're all going to play. And then for the Magic, Terrence Ross, game time decision. James Ennis, game time decision. Otto Porter, game time decision. Michael Carter Williams, game time decision. We'll see if he's back, folks. Michael Carter Williams can kind of see what he can do for this Magic team, but once again, the Lakers should have no problem winning this game. Can they cover the spread? Is it a backdoor for the Magic? They did just play yesterday. How do they bounce back from getting kind of blown out by the Pacers? So the Lakers should have no trouble winning this game, but the minus 10.5 spread, just a little bit too much than we would have liked. So we'll stay away from this one. All right, Hawks, Pistons. Hawks minus 4.5, Pistons plus 4.5. Hawks just played last night. Trey Young is still out. Cam Reddish is out. Chris Dunn is a game time decision. And Tony Snell is a game time decision. And then for the Pistons, just Roddy McGruder and Dennis Smith are out. So they've got kind of their main squad still in. So we're going to stay away from this game as well. We just saw the Hawks absolutely get it done against the Bucks yesterday. So are they going to be able to kind of keep it up again? Is everybody going to be able to show out like they showed out last night? Can they get it done in the back-to-back? So some question marks here. So we'll stay away from it. Hawks should win, but I mean, they're on the back-to-back. So we'll see if everybody can step up again here. So we'll stay away from this game. Okay, striking out 0 of 3 so far on the spreads. Let's see if we can pick up right here. Spurs, Wizards. Spurs minus 3.5. Wizards plus 3.5. Okay. Now, the Wizards did just play last night, so not the greatest. But let's see who's everybody's good to go here. For the Spurs, Rudy Gay's a game time decision, and Lonnie Walker's a game time decision. For the Wizards, Rui Hachimura is a game time decision as well, but I get the 3 points here. We know this Wizards team is in kind of win hyperdrive mode. Everybody's kind of getting it done for this team. A lot of people are starting to contribute very well. I mean, we're getting 10 plus points from a lot of people now. Not so much from their starters. Their starters are all still kind of not great, but they don't play their starters that much besides Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. Davis Bertans coming off the bench. Rui Hachimura, how we can get it. So we're going to take this Wizards team plus 3.5. Yes, they are in a back-to-back, but once again, this is kind of they need to kind of win out here to kind of get solid playoff positioning to kind of keep their kind of 10th seed at minimum. So I'm going to take the Wizards plus 3.5 here. Let's get it done. Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook never gets tired, so this back-to-back should not hurt him. Spurs, lackluster, just all around. Now, this is kind of a big game for the Spurs as well, just because they are kind of in the play-in tournament as well, trying to kind of keep their lead at number 9, trying to keep in the top 10 as well. So they just had a game against the Pelicans the other night where they beat them and separated them even more. So well done to the Spurs, but we'll see how they go against this Wizards team. We're going to take the Wizards plus 3.5 here. Alrighty, then we get the Suns and the Knicks. Suns minus 2, Knicks plus 2. Okay. Alrighty, ins and outs here for the Knicks and the Suns. For the Suns, Jay Crowder still a game-time decision, and Langston Galloway is a game-time decision. So they will have Dario Saric, which they are definitely going to need off the bench. And then for the Knicks, what do we get? Just Alec Burks is still out, and Mitchell Robinson is still out. So Knicks plus 2, an absolutely huge game for this Knicks team. How do they fare? This Suns team on a back-to-back, just losing against the Nets last night. So they're definitely going to kind of want to win this game, the Suns, and kind of take out their aggression of just losing last night. But this Knicks team getting it done. Think we're going to have to stay away from it. This spread, I mean, if the Knicks were getting like maybe 4, I think I would have taken it. I do still like the Knicks plus 2, though. But we'll see how they fare against this good Suns team. But are they still good, man? How is Nerlens Noel going to do down low against what's his name? Oh, man. What's his name? DeAndre Ayton for the Suns. We're going to bet the Knicks here tonight. We're going to take a risk on this Knicks team. Knicks plus 2. Let's take it. Just this Suns team on a back-to-back, man. I'm a little nervous. I've been telling you ever since like last Friday, we're a little nervous on this Suns team. Just their lackluster offensive production when it's not just Devin Booker getting it done by himself. Nobody else really kind of gives great contributions offensively consistently for this team. So we're going to stay away from this one. Jay Crowder, if he's back, definitely going to help him out. Darius Saric definitely going to help out the Suns team. But overall, going to ride with this Knicks team to see what they do. Knicks plus 2. That's what we're taking at home. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alrighty, then we get the Cavs and the Raptors. Cavs plus 11. Raptors minus 11. Cavs plus 11? Come on. All right, out for the Cavs. Colin Sexton's the game-time decision with the concussion. So we'll see if he's good to go here. Let's see if we get any kind of updates on him, because that's absolutely huge. If he's in, we're taking the 11 all day long. Oh, and there it is, just 2 minutes ago. Absolutely fantastic. He's ruled out now with the concussion. So they did just play all well last night. Fantastic. But on the back-to-back, are they going to be able to keep it up? So we'll stay away from this game. For the Raptors, Chris Boucher is still out, unfortunately. Rodney Hood is a game-time decision as well. But we'll stay away from this one. Cavs should be decently competitive in this game, but we'll see how it goes. Jazz, Timberwolves. Jazz minus 11.5. Timberwolves plus 9.5. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know we're going to kind of break our rule here. I know we usually don't take back-to-back games, back-to-back series. But, I mean, the Timberwolves just won on the road against the Jazz. Now they're home against the Jazz, and they're still getting 9.5 points. You got to respect this Timberwolves team, man. Don't disrespect them. Vegas has been disrespecting them, giving them so many points every single game. And we're going to take the Timberwolves here. Just Donovan Mitchell out for the Jazz, and just Malik Beasley out for the Timberwolves, but you still got the big three of Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell off the bench, Ricky Rubio to kind of facilitate the starter. So I've got no problem taking the 9.5 here with this Timberwolves team. This is a new and improved Timberwolves team ever since the trade deadline. They're still getting disrespected. They're winning games, being competitive in games. Jazz just clinched a playoff spot last night. That's not going to change the way they play. They still want that number 1 seed, but I got to give it up for this Timberwolves team getting it done every single game. We'll bet them in the back-to-back with the Jazz plus 9.5. All right, then Bulls and Heat. Bulls plus 6, Heat minus 6. Once again, in a back-to-back with this kind of Heat team, so we'll probably stay away from this series. For the Bulls, Zach LaVine is still out, obviously, and Troy Brown is out. For the Heat, Victor Oladipo is still out, Tyler Hero, game-time decision, Andre Iguodala out, and Kendrick Nunn, a game-time decision. So a lot of potential not greatness for this Heat team with the game-time decisions and all their outs. So Bulls plus 6 is looking good, but it is in their kind of back-to-back, so we'll stay away from that one. We're already kind of breaking our rule by taking the Timberwolves plus 9. All right, then we get the Clippers and the Pelicans. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Are they disrespecting the Clippers now? Clippers minus 2, Pelicans plus 2. Kawhi Leonard better be out for this Clippers team if it's minus 2. For the Clippers, Rondo is a game-time decision. Patrick Beverley's still out, obviously. Serge Ibaka's out. Kawhi Leonard is still out. Alrighty. Luke Kennard is out. And then for the Pelicans, Steven Adams, a game-time decision. Josh Hart is still out, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a game-time decision. They definitely need Nickeil Alexander-Walker to play here if they want to have a chance here. This Pelicans team needs the bench. They need some bench scoring. Josh Hart was their best bench scorer, but he's out. He's been out for the last couple of games here. They definitely need Nickeil Alexander-Walker out off the bench to be good to go, because they need the facilitator off the bench. They need the scoring off the bench, and that's what Nickeil Alexander-Walker can, bring to this Pelicans team. But I got to give it up for this Clippers team. I mean, Paul George is getting it done by himself. Their point guard, not Patrick Beverley, not Rondo. Why do I always forget that man's name? Reggie Jackson has been absolutely spectacular at the point guard position. So I'm taking the Clippers minus 2 here over the Pelicans. I've got no problem taking this Clippers team. They're winning games without Kawhi Leonard. Paul George is getting it done. He's going manic. And like I said, Reggie Jackson has been absolutely fantastic for this team. Scoring, facilitator on the floor, just defense as well. So we're going to give it up for the Clippers here. We'll swallow the 2. I can't buy this Pelicans team, man. I just cannot buy it. They've got no bench. Lonzo Ball has some good games, but it still doesn't translate to wins every single game. So something has to change here. We love the Clippers minus 2. All right, then the last 2 games, the Grizzlies and the Nuggets. Grizzlies plus 4, Nuggets minus 4. All righty. Good kind of matchup here. Grizzlies. Everybody's good to go. Wow, everybody's good to go for that Grizzlies team. Look at that. And then for the Nuggets, Will Barton is out. Monte Morris is a game-time decision, and we know Jamal Murray's out for the season. So Will Barton being out definitely is going to hurt them a little bit. Grizzlies plus 4.5. They just went and beat the Blazers last night. Let's see if they can kind of beat this Nuggets team. We're going to stay away from this one because I want one more game of this Nuggets team without Jamal Murray to see kind of if that one loss the other night, not their last game against the Rockets, which they won, But that other game against the Warriors where they kind of lost big, kind of about 21-point loss there, I want to know, is that truly what that Nuggets team is? Or if they're their other wins without Jamal Murray where they beat the Heat and the Rockets and the Grizzlies and the Rockets again without Jamal Murray, which is the real Nuggets team? So we're going to use this kind of game here to judge it, so we won't bet it. And then the last game of the night, the Kings and the Mavericks. Ooh, this is good value here too, folks. Great value here. Mavericks -6, Kings +6. Now, the Kings were just in their back-to-back. They just played last night, and everybody showed out for that team against the Warriors. So is De'Aaron Fox? De'Aaron Fox is still out. Marvin Bagley is a game-time decision. So I don't know if they're going to kind of be able to kind of overcome another great scoring night by everybody in that starting lineup again without De'Aaron Fox. Now, for the Mavericks, J.J. Redick's a game-time decision. Josh Richardson's a game-time decision. Dorian Finney-Smith is a game-time decision. Kristaps Porzingis is a game-time decision. Luka Doncic is a game-time decision. Maxi Kleber is a game-time decision. Jeez Louise out here. What the heck? Everybody game-time decision. For the Mavericks, do we get any positive any new information here? We did just get news that Robin Lopez is questionable for the Wizards. Russell Westbrook is questionable for the Wizards, but Rui Hachimura is available to play. And so we got to go back here because we did take the Wizards +3.5. Where are they at? Wizards +3.5. Where are they at? Did we not? Did they take it off the board? Interesting. Wizards Spurs. Interesting. The line is starting to change right now. Alrighty, interesting there. We may have to kind of stay away from that Wizards team, but back to the Kings and the Mavericks. Nothing. What do we get? J.J. Redick, questionable. Dorian Finney-Smith, questionable. So not looking real good. No real information on all these Mavericks players, unfortunately. So, we do like the Mavericks -6. If everybody's out, though, we don't like it. So maybe wait till a little bit closer to bet this Mavericks game. We got a good kind of moneymaker going, so we won't push it with the Mavericks and the Kings tonight. Wizards +3.5, Knicks +2, Timberwolves +9.5, Clippers -2. That's our moneymaker for tonight's action. Feeling good. Definitely love that Clippers -2, folks. I think that's the best bet of the night. Timberwolves +9 should be good as well, and the Knicks +2 looking pretty solid too. So feeling good tonight, folks. Feeling good on our moneymaker. Alrighty, now let's go over to our NFL draft prospect. We're ranking them over these next 2 days. We're starting with the offense today, doing the defense tomorrow. We're only doing the quarterbacks, running backs, and the wide receivers. For tight ends, it's just Kyle Pitts. I mean, that's the only great tight end. Everybody else is just kind of all right, solid. Linemen, we didn't go too deep into the linemen. Kind of focused more on the skills player when we were doing our NFL draft prospects of the day for the last 70 days out here. So we're just going to do quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers today. Tomorrow we'll do corners, safeties, and linebackers, and edge rushers. I believe we've done enough edge rushers to kind of rank them. So we got that today and tomorrow. Then Wednesday we will be doing our mock draft, leading up to Thursday where we'll do the show, and then we also have our live draft show later in the night, starting at 7:30 Eastern. Thursday draft night, first round of the draft. So we will be live there, twitch.tv/takesbyfans. So come join us with other fans, all hoping for the same thing, that our teams get better, picking the right pick that we think is the right pick. So. But before we do our mock draft, which is coming up on Wednesday, we have to kind of rank. We've got to order these prospects, so it's making it a little bit easier for our mock draft to kind of who's going to be firstly selected in each category. So we're starting today with the offense, and we're going to start with the quarterback. So here we go. The 5 quarterbacks that we are ranking are Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields. That's the 5 quarterbacks that we are ranking right now. So here we go. Should we start at number 5 or start with number 1? Let's start with number 1. Alrighty. Here we go. The top quarterback in this year's draft class is Trevor Lawrence, of course. Does anybody not think he's the best quarterback in this year's draft? I mean, he's definitely the number 1 overall pick. We all know he's getting drafted by the Jaguars. That's no question. It's just, is he going to pan out as the number 1 quarterback? That's the only thing left to decide in this year's draft class. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick taken, but is he truly 10 years from now the best quarterback in this year's draft class? But so we can start here with Trevor Lawrence. Absolutely great. I mean, he's 6'6", folks. Every other quarterback in this draft is 6'3", so you're getting the great height here. We just saw Justin Herbert. Isn't he like 6'5", and instantly just started to sling it around with that Chargers team? No problem. So Trevor Lawrence, he's been, at Clemson for 3 years, absolutely great every single year, won the national championship his first year. Unfortunately, kind of got a little worse in that kind of, never back to the national championship, or never winning the national championship game again, unfortunately. But always getting into the college football playoffs, being competitive. Classic, great production here, 65% completion percentage his first 2 seasons, 69% completion percentage his last season 2020, getting 3,000 yards every single season, so consistent. And the one thing I love about him, he doesn't throw that many picks. I mean, year 1, 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, fantastic. 2019, 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean, we're talking 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That's absolutely fantastic. And then just in 2020, 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Once again, great touchdown to interception ratio. And he's a decent dual threat. I mean, we saw in 2019, he rushed for 500 yards. Fantastic. 9 touchdowns along with those yards, those 500 yards. So he can be a little bit of a decent dual threat quarterback. He's got the size. He's got the arm. We loved everything about it. His only losses, or no, that's our next quarterback that we're talking about. But yeah, he rushed for the 5,000, 3,000 yards pass, or he rushed for 500. He threw for 3,000 yards every single season. Great touchdown to interception ratios. Doesn't really turn the ball over that much. Only 17 interceptions over 3 seasons. Never double-digit interceptions, which is always great. I mean, you really don't see that too much in college, especially in the kind of top quarterback prospects of every kind of draft class. You don't really see any quarterback doing double-digit interceptions, which is definitely a red flag. But he never did it here. Got kind of, started off big in college and then kind of slowly went down every single season, just in place-wise. But yeah, won the national championship. Did he win the Heisman? No, he never won the Heisman, unfortunately. Not even in 2018 did he win the Heisman? But, I mean, he went undefeated 2018. Fantastic. Never lost a game. 2019. Never lost until the last game of the season against LSU for the national championship. That's when he lost against Joe Burrow. And then in 2020, just lost to Ohio State, and Justin Fields kind of got blown out by Justin Fields a little bit. But we're going to rank Trevor Lawrence here number 1 over everybody else in this quarterback draft class, just because he's kind of been at the pinnacle of the best quarterback kind of throughout the league throughout the last 3 years in college. So Trevor Lawrence is number 1. Alrighty, number 2, and I don't know why this isn't kind of a unanimous decision here, but I gotta go Justin Fields at number 2, folks. Once again, kind of like Trevor Lawrence, the man is a winner. He only loses games when it's the college playoffs or the college championship games. He doesn't lose in the regular season, and this is great for Justin Fields because he plays at Ohio State in a good kind of collegiate conference. So I mean, we get to Zach Wilson playing in BYU, we get freaking Trey Lance playing at South Dakota State in the FCS, we get Mac Jones playing at Alabama, but he had an absolutely stacked roster. So I got to give it up for Justin Fields at number 2, 67% completion percentage, 70% completion percentage just this year, so absolutely magnificent. The completion percentage is there. 3,200 yards in 2019, only playing 8 games this season, so the yards only at 2,100, but the touchdown to interception ratios are fantastic. 2019, 41 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, magnificent. And then just this season, once again, the games coming down from 14 to 8 from 2019 to 2020, so yes, all the stats are falling, but 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I mean, we're talking 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, very close to kind of 4-to-1. His rushing, kind of a good dual threat as well. 400 yards 2019, basically 484. And then 2020, 300 yards, rushing for 5 more touchdowns this season, 10 touchdowns last season. So still a good dual threat in this league. And once again, the big thing about this man is that he's a winner. He's a winner. 2019, did not lose a regular season game, just lost against Clemson in the first round of the college football playoffs. So we can kind of excuse the loss there. I mean, you're getting into the big game. I like to see you win bowl games. You know, that's something that we do kind of weigh heavy, but he did it this year, so he still won it. And he still won their bowl games in the Big Ten championship games as well. And then just this season in 2020, once again, did not lose until the national championship game against Alabama. So we got to give him the respect. He is a winner in this league. He was winning. And I love the completion percentages. The yards are good. The dual threat ability is good. So I'm going to put Justin Fields at number 2 here. And the real reason that I like him over our number 3 pick is that he won in a good conference consistently. So I got to give him a lot of credit for that. So we're officially putting Justin Fields as the second best quarterback in this draft class. All right, then we'll go to number 3, and that's where we're going to put Zach Wilson. All righty, now, quarterback from BYU, just solid. You know, he was a solid player, and then he kind of boomed. He boomed in his kind of pro day, which we don't really, I mean, nothing's great on your pro day. You're throwing against no defense, in shorts, no pads, no nothing, and it's just one-on-one quarterback receiver. So yes, you know, quarterbacks are going to look great out there, obviously. Zach Wilson had like a 60-yard bomb pass that he kind of threw, contorting his body out of a break of a run. So yes, that was good and it's impressive, but once again, it's, you know, at a pro day. So Zach Wilson, once again, he's 6'3", nothing great over kind of Justin Fields, not the dual threat ability that kind of Justin Fields has. The most he's ever rushed in a season was last year with 254 yards. He did rush for 10 touchdowns. The one thing that we do like about Zach Wilson that we saw on the tape is that he was great in the red zone. We loved his accuracy in the red zone, high and away every single time. He also had 73% completion percentage this season. That's another huge green flag for this man. But when we're talking about wins and, you know, competition, I mean, he's at BYU, folks. BYU. That's are they independent? What conference are they in? Yeah, they are independent. So no great teams that they're going up against consistently. They did get to some bowl games. So let's see what he did in these. Western Michigan, he won the bowl game. He went 100%, 18 of 18. That was fantastic. 2019 in the bowl game, they ended up losing. He had 60% completion percentage, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That was 2019. And then 2020, this bowl game against Central Florida, is back to winning, 3 touchdowns, 74% completion percentage, or 76% completion percentage. But once again, I mean, we saw Justin Fields do good in his bowl games and then got to the playoffs and still did good in those playoff games as well. So we get, Zach Wilson, you were good in those bowl games, but I mean, being in the BYU, being in the independent conference, you're never going to get to a college football playoffs. Justin Fields got there twice, made a good impression in all those games, got the revenge, you know, lost against Clemson in 2019, beat Clemson, murdered Clemson in 2020, and just unfortunately lost to an overall stacked roster of Alabama in the title game. So you can't kind of fault them too much there. All right, back to Zach Wilson here. The interceptions, I mean, pretty good to touchdown to interception ratio. He wasn't throwing a lot of touchdowns his first 2 seasons. 2018, playing 9 games, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 2019, not good at all. 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I mean, that's absolutely not great at all in 9 games. And then 2020, 33 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So that was fantastic. 11-1 touchdown to interception ratio in 2020. But we see some red flags in his game. Not playing against the best competition. Not winning every single game. I mean, losing games in the regular season. In 2018, he lost 1, 2, 3, 4 games in the regular season. That's not good in the independent conference. I know his team's not that great overall because, once again, he's still in the independent conference, but you still got to elevate your team a little bit more, man. Then 2019, losing 1, 2, 3, 4 games in the regular season and lost his bowl game that season. And then in 2020, he only lost 1 game his regular season, so that was good. Only 1 year of good success, though. Justin Fields, we kind of have 2 good, solid years of success. Zach Wilson, only 1. Trevor Lawrence, kind of 3. So, gonna give it up for Zach Wilson here at number 3 of the best kind of quarterbacks in this draft class. Is that it? Did I say everything I wanted to? He did get better every single season, kind of. Yards wise, 1,500 year one, 2,300 year two, 3,600 year three. Completion percentage dipped in year two. Touchdown to interception ratio dipped year two, but the yards were there. That's the only thing that kind of rose in year two. And we also kind of see his speed is kind of Baker Mayfield-ish, where we put Justin Fields' speed as kind of Kyler Murray-ish, and that's still drastic difference between Justin Fields and Zach Wilson's speed. So we're going to put Zach Wilson at number 3. All right, then at number 4, we're going to go Mac Jones here. All righty, Mac Jones, only one good year playing. That's all he had, folks. One good year playing quarterback. That was it, and it was a good year. Don't get us wrong. We're not trying to knock Mac Jones, but when we kind of break down the totality of his game, I mean, folks, there are red flags that need to be talked about. So here we go. Mac Jones, only 1 year starting wise in 2020. Played 13 games, started all 13 games because Tua was not there anymore. And he went 77% completion percentage. Folks, that's absolutely manic in college. 77% fan-freaking-tastic. 4,500 yards passing. Once again, fan-freaking-tastic. 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Once again, fan-freaking-tastic, folks. I mean, all these numbers just crush every other quarterback in this year's draft class. Trevor Lawrence has never threw for 4,500 yards, 77% completion percentage. Justin Fields never did that. Zach Wilson definitely never did that, and Trey Lance never did that either. So you got to give credit to Mac Jones for these stats, absolutely. But when we look at his roster and who he had in his team, and what program he played for, and still playing in the FCS in 2020 in the COVID year when every team was really not that great anymore. The FCC isn't the greatest conference. It's still a great conference, but when we're looking, interconference here in the SEC West, I mean, you get Texas A&M, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas, who are all historically good names, but I mean, look at these records. Auburn 6-5 this year, LSU 5-5 this year, Ole Miss 5-5 this year, Arkansas 3-7 this year, Mississippi State 4-7 this year. Yeah, Texas A&M was good this year, 9-1, and I'm assuming they did beat Texas A&M. No, let's see what he did against Texas A&M real quick. Just because it was all interconference stuff here. They beat Texas A&M 20, that's his completion percentage. They beat him 52-24, holy moly. But yeah, he had a 74% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, still 1 interception, so that's still good, but it's just overall the level of competitiveness came down a little bit this year because of the COVID season. He had an absolutely stacked roster. Devontae Smith was the Heisman winner. Jalen Waddle's going to be top 5 wide receivers taken in this year's draft. Najee Harris is going to be top 2 running backs taken in this draft, and then his defense got it done as well, so I mean, just an absolutely stacked team. Now, he delivered. He did exactly what he needed to do. So we're not trying to knock him for so much that he needed, or for doing what he needed to do and doing what he was supposed to do out there. But at the end of the day, when we're looking at all these other quarterbacks that didn't have all those talented wide receivers that proved more than one season, that's kind of my one knock on Zach Wilson. We only saw it for one season. That's why we're knocking Mac Jones a little bit. We only saw it for one season. It was freaking a great season. Stacked roster, stacked everything, playing for Alabama under Nick Saban, all of that. So don't know if he's going to be able to make it in this league. Don't know if he's going to be able to kind of elevate not great talent around him wide receiver wise. I mean, what happens if he's got no wide receivers wherever he goes? I mean, what if he had to go play for the Patriots last season with the weapons that Cam Newton had? Would he have been better than what Cam Newton did? I don't know, man. I'm not 100% sold on that. So we're going to put Mac Jones at number 4 here. Yes, it was a great season, but when you take everything into consideration of last season, I mean, the chips were in this man's favor 1,000%. And then number 5 has got to be Trey Lance, man. I'm not really, no. Once again, man, Trey Lance, one good season, one solid season. This is in the FCS. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields playing against great competition years. Trevor Lawrence 3 seasons, Justin Fields 2 straight seasons, and winning games those seasons against kind of the, elite programs in college. And Trey Lance is in the FCS. playing good in 2019. And in 2019, this was his stats. I mean, 66% completion percentage, 2,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, no picks. That's fantastic. No picks. But once again, what are these defenses you're facing? The FCS in 2019, nothing good. And then in 2020, the COVID season, they didn't even play. They had one game before the entire season got shut down. And that's when he threw his first interception. That's when he threw 50% completion percentage. So once again, yes, you were great year one, but then we didn't see you year two because the season got canceled. In the small glimpse that we saw, only one game before the season got canceled in 2020 for Trey Lance, that's when his first interception came out. So we can't say that he's great anymore. That's when the 50% completion percentage game came out. So it's like, what are we talking about here? Yes, he was good in the FCS for one season. Is that supposed to make me confident that this man's going to work out? I'm going to take the Mac Jones over Trey Lance just because he's proven he can get it done 1 year in the FBS. Better competition, better numbers, better everything. So we got to put Trey Lance at number 5 here for the quarterback. So our official ranking of quarterbacks of this year's draft class, we predict Trevor Lawrence will be the best. We predict Justin Fields will be number 2. Zach Wilson will be number 3. Mac Jones number 4. And Trey Lance will be the 5th best quarterback in this year's draft class. Alrighty, now let's do running backs now. We got our format a little messed up here on the doc. So let's just straighten this out very quickly before we move on. Just very quickly. Alrighty, here we go. So running backs now. Let's draft these. Let's number these. We only got the top 4 running backs here. I think we've only looked at the top 4 running backs. And these are these top 4 running backs that we're talking about. Najee Harris, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, and Travis Etienne. Those are the 3 running backs that we are talking about. So let's rank them now. And this is tough, man. 1 and 2 is truly tough here. But I'm going to give number 1 to Najee Harris, folks. I love this man. Absolutely fantastic. Big old runner at 6'2", not quite 6'3". And you know who we love at 6'2"? You know who we love 6'2" in this league? Derrick mother-loving Henry at 6'3", who played at Alabama. Najee Harris, a little bit of Derrick Henry, not as big as Derrick Henry. We see Najee Harris 6'2", still a big running back out here. And when we looked at it, what he did, 4 straight seasons at Alabama, getting better every single season, which is exactly what we're looking for, culminating into his 2020 season where he rushed for 1,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5.8 yards a carry, just getting it done. We loved everything we saw about Najee Harris. He's a great catcher out of the backfield, caught for 425 yards, 4 touchdowns catching the ball as well, doing it in the big game, the national championship game, the play that really sold us, where, the ball was thrown a little bit behind him and he reaches back and then he's still able to kind of get it done for the last 15 yards for the touchdown. So gotta go with Najee Harris as the best running back here, and it is tight, folks, with him in number 2, which is Travis Etienne. They're leaps and bounds ahead of Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, folks. It's truly there. It goes Najee Harris and Travis Etienne. You can rank them however you want. It's that close, folks. I would not be upset if you have Travis Etienne number 1. But besides those 2, I mean, there's a huge gap. There's a huge gap between 3 and number 4, honestly. But we're gonna put Najee Harris at number 1 here because he kind of gives us a little bit of Derrick Henry vibes. Obviously not as big as him. Derrick Henry is 6'3", Najee Harris is 6'2". Derrick Henry's like 250, Najee Harris is like 230. So still decently similar, but a little bit of a knockoff version if you want, off-brand version. But the one thing that kind of really solidifies that Najee Harris could do what kind of Derrick Henry is doing in this league, just getting better every single season, culminating to 26 touchdowns in 2020. That's exactly what Derrick Henry did his collegiate career, getting better every single season. Now, in his kind of final season, Derrick Henry, he rushed for 2,200 yards, which is fantastic, but 28 touchdowns, 5.6 yards a carry. Najee Harris had 26 touchdowns, 5.8 yards a carry, so very similar stats wise to Derrick Henry, just besides the running the ball wise, the kind of total yard stat wise. But what we get with Najee Harris is a little bit of a better kind of receiving game where Derrick Henry never really caught the ball. I mean, his best receiving year in Alabama for Derrick Henry was 2014 with 133 yards receiving, where we see Najee Harris just put up 425 yards last season and 304 yards 2019. So once again, just getting better in every facet of the game every single season. So I got to give it to Najee Harris for the best running back in this year's draft class. And then that kind of leaves number 2 for Travis Etienne. Very, very, folks, I'm talking hair close. I'm talking about, it's so hard to choose who's actually better between Najee Harris and Travis Etienne, because Najee Harris, we get good speed, but we get kind of, that kind of, shoulder ability where you can kind of truck some players, where Travis Etienne is just taking the top off the freaking defense, folks. This man's speed is absolutely unbelievable. A pure speed running back. So you either want the speed or you want the size with the little less speed than Travis Etienne, and that's kind of where we're making kind of our differences. We kind of see Najee Harris a little bit more versatile, just a tad, folks. So we're going to go with Travis Etienne here at the second running back position. Once again, he had absolutely great games. He had back-to-back 1,600-yard rushing seasons. We see Najee Harris not even have a 1,600. His best was 1,400, Once again, Travis Etienne, he does catch the ball out of the backfield as well. 432 yards receiving last season, or 2 seasons ago in 2019, and then 2020, 588 yards receiving as well. So we've seen him, catch the ball out of the backfield as well. He's just a pure speed runner. He's only 5'10", not a 6-foot running back in this league. So kind of classic running back size for Travis Etienne. His speed is immaculate. The one thing, he kind of went down every single season. You can kind of, put that up for the COVID season. I've got no problem with that. Only played 12 games in 2020, only rushed for 914 yards, where in 2018, 2019, he played 15 games because it was a full season, and he rushed for 1,600 yards. So, that's another small reason why we put Travis Etienne at number 2, just because we see players getting better every single season, folks. That tells us a lot. That tells us you haven't reached your ceiling yet, and that you're still going to improve in the league, in the NFL. So, got to give it up to Travis Etienne. And man, oh man, I know the Dolphins are potentially looking at a running back in this year's draft. I don't think we'll take it at 6, but have the potential to take it at number 18 in the first round. And honestly, I would be happy. I think I would be the same amount of happy if we chose either one of these running backs. It's just truly hard to decide which one's truly better right now. Only time will tell who's good 10 years down the line. But we're going to put Najee Harris 1, Travis Etienne 2. And then that leaves the kind of couple running back from UNC. But we're going to put Javonte Williams at number 3. And Michael Carter at number 4. And, very similar running backs here. Both have, about 1,000 yards. They basically, running back by committee over there in USC. But the one thing that we liked more from Javonte Williams over Michael Carter is that he kind of was able to break tackles a little bit more than Michael Carter was. They're both great runners, don't get us wrong. Like I said, Michael Carter, 1,200 rushing yards last season, 9 touchdowns. Javonte Williams, 1,100 rushing yards, 19 touchdowns. He's able to break the tackles, able to kind of get those extra yards. They're both absolutely fantastic. Great runners. Michael Carter was averaging 8 yards a run. Javonte Williams, 7.3 yards a run. But I'm going to go with a little bit more of an explosive runner in Javonte Williams, a little bit of a better ball catcher. He had 300 yards this season catching-wise, 3 touchdowns along with that. Where Javonte Carter, 267 yards, 2 touchdowns. So once again, they're very, very close runners. They were running back by committee all season, but I just kind of liked Javonte Williams' explosiveness a little bit better, his ability to break tackles a little bit better over Michael Carter. But once again, the main point to take away from in this running back draft class is the gap between Najee Harris, Travis Etienne over Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. Folks, the gap is absolutely enormous. Travis Etienne has the kind of take the top off the defense, game-breaking speed. If there's nobody in front of this man, you're not going to be able to catch up to him. Can't really say the same about Michael Carter and Javonte Williams and Najee Harris. Najee Harris has kind of the big beef ability. He's 6'2", big frame. Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, both 5'10", 5'8", 5'10". So we're going to order it a little bit. Javonte Williams, a little bit of a bigger size, able to break those tackles a little bit more than Michael Carter. So we got Najee Harris as the best running back in this year's draft class, Travis Etienne number 2, Javonte Williams number 3, and Michael Carter number 4. And then that leads us to our wide receivers in this year's draft class. which are we got Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, and Jalen Waddle. Alrighty, and kind of the same thing here. We got kind of the top three, and then there's a huge gap for the next two to make up the top five. But the number one wide receiver, and I really think there's no debate about this, it's Devontae Smith, folks. Come on. Once again, getting better every single season, playing all 4 years at Alabama, getting better every single season. Started at 160 yards, then goes to 693 yards, then goes to 1,200 yards, then goes to 1,800 yards, receiving 23 touchdowns, Heisman winner. We broke this down the other day. He was the best wide receiver in every single bowl game, every single college playoff game that he played in, getting it done. The main reason why they won, getting touchdowns in all these games, all these kind of big games that he's in. So, got to give it up for Devontae Smith, the number one wide receiver here. He's proven over 4 years he's getting better. He's always great. Heisman winner, 1,800 yards. And then let's talk about number two now, because that's what we're kind of comparing him to. Is Jamar Chase at number two? Absolutely. He's fantastic. Don't get us wrong, but it was one season. Didn't play this year in 2020. So a little bit of a red flag that needs to be talked about. Yeah, we saw him have an absolutely great 2019, 1,700 yards, 20 touchdowns, looking absolutely fantastic, 21 yards a catch. Don't get us wrong, but is it a fluke season? Does he kind of take a little bit of a step back here? He didn't play in 2020, so we can't see that. Where Devontae Smith, we've got proven talent, 4 straight years, getting better every single year, never floundering, never taking a big step back, being the main reason why they won all those games. We looked at Jamar Chase in 2019. And I mean, yeah, they won the national championship game, and he absolutely had a big hand in winning that national championship game. 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, fantastic. But then when we look at, what they did in their first round of the playoffs against Oklahoma, not a huge reason why they won that game. He wasn't even the best receiver on his team in that game. The conference championship game against Georgia, only 1 touchdown, 41 yards. Once again, wasn't the best wide receiver on his own team in that game. So have to take a little bit of a kind of full picture look at this man. Yes, it was an incredible season in 2019, but I get more consistent, more proven wins and yards and talent by Devontae Smith, capping off in a Heisman winner season. So got to put Devontae Smith at number 1. And I'm telling you, if the Dolphins do not take him at number 6, I'm not a Dolphins fan anymore, folks. That is the only pick at number 6, and I'm over the conversation. I'm over the debate on it. We're 3 days out from the draft. This is all you can do. Devontae Smith at number 6, folks. Proven wide receiver talent. Go and get it. All right, number 3, we're going to put Jalen Waddle. Oh, my goodness, fantastic speed on this man. Yes, sir. He can take the top off the defense, no problem. He goes up and plays the ball as good as Tyreek Hill does. Our camera just died, unfortunately, so whatever we're frozen at now. But Jalen Waddle plays as well as Tyreek Hill does, at least going up for the ball at a kind of a smaller frame. What is Jalen Waddle, 5'10"? 5'10". I think Tyreek Hill's 5'10", 5'9", but Jalen Waddle, kind of same speed, a little bit, maybe a little slower than Tyreek Hill does, because Tyreek Hill's speed is just wild to even begin with. But Jalen Waddle at number 3 here from Alabama, a great college career. He just goes, and the way he just goes up and gets the ball at only 5'10", it's fantastic, folks. He goes up and plays like he's DeAndre Hopkins at 6'1", folks. It's truly great. So he goes up, he will go high point the ball if he has to kind of make a contested catch one-on-one, or I mean all the other catches are wide open because he can create space because he's that quick and can cut that fast. So Jalen Waddle at number 3. Then the last 2 here, we're going to put Rashad Bateman here at number 4. Let's get him marked up. He's 6'2", great size. I mean, I definitely want to kind of build my team around tall wide receivers so I can throw those 50-50 balls a lot more. But yeah, I mean, he's got great speed. Rashad Bateman, not as good of a career as these kind of other great wide receivers. of Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase. But yeah, loved what I saw from Rashad Bateman, 6'2", solid wide receiver out here. Doesn't have the great catchability that kind of Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle and Jamar Chase does. Doesn't have the true like open ability that kind of Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle do. Devontae Smith can beat you out the line of scrimmage. Just Rashad Bateman, solid speed, great speed at 6'2", good solid wide receiver out there. And once again, kind of like we said, I mean, the big drop-off in quarterbacks is Trevor Lawrence and everybody else. The big drop-off in running backs is Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and everybody else. And these kind of top wide receivers are Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, and really everybody else. I don't think I would even put kind of Jalen Waddle in that kind of top elite category. And then the fifth best wide receiver, we're going to put Elijah Moore. Once again, another good wide receiver out here in this draft. Solid catchability, but he's only 5'9", really kind of small as a wide receiver, honestly. That's why we have Rashad Bateman above him, just because he's 6'2". He doesn't have game-breaking speed like Jalen Waddle does, maybe like Jamar Chase does. I'd put kind of game-breaking speed on Jamar Chase a little bit. And he doesn't really break tackles that much like we see Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle able to do a little bit more. So we put Elijah Moore at number 5. Once again, I mean, at this point, besides these kind of top 2 wide receivers, it's really just kind of which one fits your scheme better. Do you want the fast, shifty wide receiver in Jalen Waddle? Do you want the tall wide receiver in Rashad Bateman? Or do you want just kind of a solid wide receiver of Elijah Moore? Just not the kind of same speed as Jalen Waddle, but so that's what we have in our NFL draft prospects offensively ranked here. For quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence 1, Justin Fields 2, Zach Wilson 3, Mac Jones 4, Trey Lance 5. Running backs, we got Najee Harris 1, Travis Etienne 2, Javonte Williams 3, Michael Carter 4. And for wide receivers, Devontae Smith 1, Jamar Chase 2, Jalen Waddle 3, Rashad Bateman 4, and Elijah Moore 5. Tomorrow on the show, we will do our defensive players, safeties, corners, linebackers, and see how they're all kind of stacking up. And then Wednesday, we do our live draft, our live mock draft. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Any breaking news here we need to talk about? The Clippers are signing DeMarcus Cousins for the rest of the season. Fantastic. Not that they were really using him, but can always use that great depth out there. Fantastic. Alrighty, folks. That's what we are going to leave it at. Kyle Shanahan wants Mac Jones, but 49ers scouting departments has pushed for Trey Lance. What? No. I swear, man. If the 49ers have an opportunity to take Justin Fields and don't, I think it's a real big mistake on them. Alrighty, folks. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow, live, noon Eastern. All right.